What do you get when you divide 1 over 2? Well, it's 0.5, correct? Well, not exactly. In Minecraft, this does not work, as the game runs off of integers, which are numbers that can't go into the decimal format, meaning a simple 1 divided by 2 will result in a 0, which causes a big problem. So now that brings us to Minecraft. Right here, I have a little machine. This command right here goes ahead and copies our kills to an objective called KD unit, as you see here. The command above it goes ahead and divides that KD unit over deaths. So this is basically kills divided by deaths. Now, right here, you see I have 580 kills and 200 deaths. What do you think the answer is gonna be? A, a turkey, a roasted turkey for Thanksgiving. B, the number 2. That's it, just the number 2, or C, 2.9. Now, if you chose the letter A, you are absolutely wrong, because the answer is B. Why is it B? Well, like I said, the game runs off of integers, meaning 580 divided by 200 can only be divided 2 times before it errors out on the 3rd time, meaning this cannot be 2.9. So if I was to go ahead and swap over to this command line here, you'll see that this one here goes ahead and makes it 2.9. Now, how am I doing this? I'm gonna go ahead and split both systems into 2 integers, and then it's separated by a period that I just added, so instead of these being 1 floating point number, it is 2 integers separated by a period. So let's get started setting up the commands for our action bar. But before we get to that, we're gonna need to set up a few prerequisite commands so that no problems occur down the line. To begin, go ahead and type out these 3 commands that you see on your screen. If you already have a ticking area command set up in a place, go ahead and set up all your commands inside that room. But if you don't, go ahead and set up yourself a command room so that you have a ticking area ready. Next up, let's go ahead and create our scoreboard objectives. Here we have 5 different objectives, and each one of them begin quite much the same. So we're gonna type in /scoreboard objectives add KD fixer dummy, and then we're just gonna go ahead and activate this. You can either type this into a command or you could type it into the chat. So we're just gonna do the exact same thing here. Scoreboard objectives add KD 0 dummy, make sure it's exactly how I have it, and activate it, and make sure it says this in the chat. And then right here we have add num, which is gonna be scoreboard objectives add num dummy. And then above this command, we're gonna also type this, you could type this in the chat as well, /scoreboard players set quotation mark 100 quotation mark num 100. This is gonna basically make a placeholder entity the value of 100. So when we times our decimals by 100, we can times it by this number right here. So activate that and make sure it says this as well. Then go ahead and get your KD unit objective. So /scoreboard objectives add KD unit dummy, and make sure it says this. And then KD decimal, which it should be scoreboard objectives add KD underscore decimal dummy, and make sure it says this. Also, for whatever reason, if you haven't created kills or a deaths objective, go ahead and type in these 2 commands in a command block or in your chat. I also recommend watching these 2 videos, the kill and death counter videos, as they will make it so whenever you kill somebody or die, they add to your kills and deaths. Now let's get started creating the display for our KD ratio. So, if you see right here, I have my KD ratio, my kills, and my deaths. Now, if you've seen my other 2 videos on how to create an action bar scoreboard or how to create a sidebar scoreboard, then you can see that the code and the commands are pretty dang similar. Now, if you don't have one at all set up, I recommend going ahead and checking out those 2 videos, or you can just go ahead and use this command right here. Now, this is a repeat, unconditional, always active command, and this is how the error should look like, and this is what the command looks like. Now, it is pretty damn complicated, so in the description down below, I have all the commands that you need to use that I'm going to be using throughout this video, so just copy and paste it. But in here, you can see that this is just a normal action bar scoreboard. And if I wanted to go ahead and say add this to my action bar, say I already had an action bar set up in my world and I just want to add the KD ratio portion to it, well, all I'm going to be adding here is this curly bracket right here all the way to this KD decimal curly bracket right here. So the highlighted section I have right now in the video is what you want to copy over to your action bar or your sidebar scoreboard, mattering on which which one you're using. But if you don't have one set up at all, just go ahead and copy this one, and when you go ahead and have it set up and activated, then you should see KD ratio and then this amount right here. Now, if you want to go ahead and set your scores to 580 and 200 like I have here, so that your numbers look like mine for testing purposes, go ahead and type in the chat /scoreboard players set @s kills and then 580 like so, and then go ahead and do the exact same things with deaths and go ahead and make that 200. And if you also want to test to make sure that your KD ratio is having a number there, you don't have to exactly do this as it's not necessary, but you can go ahead and type in KD unit and then set that to 0, and you can see that there's a 0 now. And you can also do KD decimal and set that to 0, and you'll also see that there's 0 there now as well. All right, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave my camera here, boom, and I'm gonna reset those two values so that they are gone. Uh-oh, hello, did that not, oh, that's on @s. Let me quickly swap this to @p and swap this one to @p, boom, and then type that, there you go. And now the two numbers are gone again. I'm gonna go over here, and this is the main master system here. Now you'll see that I have a bunch of levers here and a bunch of redstone lamps. You don't actually have to do that. I'm just doing that so I could teach it to you. I'm leaving all these commands on needs redstone. For you, you're gonna put it on always active. So you're gonna leave yours on always active. But I'm leaving it on needs redstone so that when I set up the command and I go ahead and flick the first lever, then you can go ahead and see what happens and what it should look like as you go ahead and place each one of your commands so that you shouldn't mess up, correct? Hopefully you don't mess up. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start off with our first command here, decimal set 100x. So this command here is going to go ahead and set the KD decimal for all players to 100. So it's gonna be on repeat, unconditional, always active, but mine's on needs redstone because I'm gonna turn on the lever, and this is what the output should look like. And when I go ahead and turn this on, then you should see at the bottom, KD ratio should have a period, then 100. Our next command here is going to go ahead and times our kills by 100. Make sure this is on chain, unconditional, always active, and then go ahead and type in this command /xu as @a run scoreboard players operation @s KD underscore decimals. Then this right here is a star. This is the thing that is above your, when you press shift and 8, this is what you should get. I will have a image, another text thingy, so you can get a different view of what it should look like. And this is going to go ahead and multiply KD decimal by your kills. So when I go ahead and hit this lever, then I should have 58,000 as my number here. So period 58,000. All right. Our next thing here is going to go ahead and divide that 58,000 by our deaths, which is 200. So right here, chain unconditional, always active, and it's going to be /execute as @a run /scoreboard players operation @s KD underscore decimal, and then /equal @s deaths. This /equal is going to mean divide. So instead of it being a star equal to multiply, /equal is going to divide. So this is going to be KD decimals divided by our deaths. So when I go ahead and hit this, it should go ahead and divide 58,000 by 200. Now we have period 290. All right, next thing here is going to go ahead and make our unit, which is the thing that goes before the decimal, equal to our decimal value. So this command is going to be on chain, unconditional, always active, /execute as @a run scoreboard players operation @s KD underscore unit equal to @s KD underscore decimal. And when I go ahead and hit this, it should go ahead and make the thing 290. So set KD unit for Monkeychan to 290 like so. And you should see 290 period 290. So now each values are exactly the same. All right, right here is going to go ahead and divide the unit by 100. So this is where the placeholder num thingy right over here will come in handy. So in this command, chain unconditional, always active. And when I go ahead and go in here, /execute as @a run /scoreboard players operation @s KD underscore unit /equal, and then quotation marks 100, quotation marks num. So it's going to divide KD unit by the placeholder entity 100 and their value of 100. So when I go ahead and hit this, then it should make the first number 2, like so. So now it's 2 period 290, and the output should look like this, because I failed those, but if you guys could see how it is right now, then you should be following it just along. Alright, our next thing here is going to be KD Fixer 1. This is going to go ahead and make it so that 2 from the decimals place, where it says 290, is removed. Because right now, the score is supposed to be 2.9, not 2.29, which is incorrect. So, we're going to start off right here. Chain unconditional, always active, and this is going to be /execute as @a run /scoreboard players operation @s KD Fixer is equal to KD decimal. So when I go ahead and hit this, KD Fixer should equal to 290, as it is in here. Alright, our next thing is going to be KD Fixer 2, and it's going to be chain unconditional, always active, and it's going to go ahead and /execute as @a run /scoreboard players operation @s KD underscore Fixer divided / equal, and then our placeholder of quotation mark 100 quotation mark num. So it's going to divide KD Fixer by 100 num, which is going to go ahead and make this 2. So KD Fixer for MonkeyYT is 2. Alright, our next thing here, KD Fixer 3 is going to go ahead and times that by 100. So chain unconditional and then always active, and /execute as @a run /scoreboard players operation @s KD underscore Fixer, and instead of it being a slash, it's going to be the star, and then equal, and then quotation mark 100 quotation mark num. So when I hit this, it should equal to 200. There we go. So KD Fixer for MonkeyYT to 200. And then we're going to go ahead and skip these two for right now, but you're going to leave these command blocks here because it's going to fix a different problem. But we're going to go to KD Fixer 4 here. And KD Fixer 4 here is going to go ahead and be this command here, /execute as @a run /scoreboard players operation @s KD decimal minus equal @s KD Fixer. So it's going to go ahead and minus 200 from the KD decimal, which is 290. So 290 minus 200 is going to make that 90 appear. So, like so, set KD decimal for MonkeyYT to 90. Now, as you can see here, 580 divided by 200 is 2.9, so this is correct. Now, why do we have these two commands here for KD0? Well, this is for issue number 2. If I go ahead and swap this over to KD0, kills equal 2, deaths equal 20, you could go ahead and do the exact same thing in yours, and then I go ahead and say add 1 death. As you can see here, this is 0.9. Originally, 2 divided by 20 was 0.1, which is correct. But 2 divided by 21 is not 0.9. It is actually 0.09. So how are we going to fix this? By adding a placeholder 0 in front of our, or behind our 9. So we're going to start off with our first KD01 command here, which is going to be chain unconditional, always active, and this is what the command is going to look like. /execute as @a bracket scores equal curly bracket KD underscore decimal equal period 9 curly bracket bracket. So this is going to go ahead and test. If anything is below the number 9, which is what these two periods are doing, so 9 or below, then it's going to run /scoreboard players set as KD0 0, which is going to be another objective. So if I go ahead and run all the way over to our action bar here, you'll see the objective called KD0 right here. This objective isn't shown onto our screen until we have a 0. So the moment I go ahead and hit this command, you'll see that it adds a 0. Now, the problem is if I go ahead and swap back to KD Fixer over here, boom, that number, that 0, stays in place. So how do we get rid of it? Well, with KD0 too. And this is going to be a chain unconditional, always active, and this is basically going to do the exact opposite of the other command, where it's /execute as @a bracket scores equal curly bracket KD underscore decimal equal 10 or more with the 2 periods curly bracket bracket run /scoreboard players reset @s KD0. By resetting it, it makes it so the number does not exist. So meaning that 0 should become a blank number. Boom. And now it's back to 2.9. So if I go ahead and swap back to this and say add again and make that, boom, now 0.09. And if I was to swap back to this, it's 2.9. So everything works. And if I go ahead and set the random kills, set random deaths, I'm pretty sure that number looks pretty accurate. I'm not too sure about you, but that seems correct. And if I was to swap to that seems correct. I don't have a calculator with me. I don't know if those numbers are fully correct, but it seems correct. And there you have it. This is your KD ratio system. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button. Also, big shout out to my 2 boosters right now in the Discord. I need more. Nightshade and Rem, y'all are carrying the Discord. And then also, we have some beautiful fan art. Like, check this out, come on. Fire, spicy stuff we got here. Duck and yeah.